Hey folks, Phillip Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. As I leave work today, I'm thinking about some things. Why do you have to be apologetic because you're successful? Why do you gotta feel sorry or stay humble whenever you make it? I mean, you go through all of this work, all of this pain, all of this tilling of the soil, all this struggle to make something of yourself of note, something beyond what normal people can do. And the first thing these people ask you to do is be humble. Don't talk about your success. Don't act like you all of that because, you was nobody, right? It's always the same thing, the zero-sum game. You always got to stay humble. You can't be proud of your achievements. You can't feel anything about the outcomes that you struggled and toiled for months of trying not to fail, and then you become successful. And what do people do? They want you to stay quiet. They don't want you to brag. They don't want you to feel proud of yourself. You're supposed to just be mute. And I ask that why is that people are so threatened by success? Why do people feel so inferior because you've accomplished something that was your mountain to climb? Like, why is it that you have to be contained and you can't feel like you did something that others definitely thought you could not achieve? It's so frustrating. Okay, let's not do too much. Don't get a big head now. Don't think you're good looking. Don't think you're all of that. You can't even, it's so bad nowadays, you can't even celebrate a little bit because a little bit, don't go get in your head now. Hey, someone compliment me on how good looking I was, and then the next thing I know, when I say thank you, I appreciate it, they say don't go on and tell him too much, and he might get a big head. Well, my head's already big if you can't see. Why the hell does it matter to you? If someone else compliments me on how I look, on the God-given looks that I've been given, or the talent that I have in order to be successful, to provide for my family, why do you have to taper that down? If I see one of my friends be successful in life, I want to congratulate and promote him. The first thing I want to ask him is, what can I do to help? And if anything you need in the future, can I help you be more successful? Shout out to my man Don Combs, who told me, celebrate your successes. I'm your friend. If I'm your friend, I want to see you celebrate. I want to be happy when you're successful. I came to him like, hey man, I don't want to, not humble. But again, humble and oppression can sometimes be confused when you're applying it to someone. When you get around a whole bunch of people who are winners and you come up with your stats, people want to see your merits in order to make sure they can evaluate you as being worthy, as of having worth. And because our society is no longer merit-based, it's no longer you have to prove your value, prove your worth. You could just claim to be the table and any other asinine things out there of all this delusions of grandeur. Now everybody's a table. Everybody is a boss. No one's a worker. You're an employee and you're still a boss. And you don't employ one person, but you're a boss. You're a solopreneur, but you're a boss. You ain't got one person that you issue a check to every single month or a digital payment. No one is salaried underneath you, but you're a boss. Because you own an LLC, but you don't have any employees that you employ monthly. You don't have yearly payments where someone may or may not need to claim that income on their taxes, but you're a boss. I don't get it, man. The second you want to feel proud of yourself, why would you be married to someone who cannot brag about their successes when their successes reflect your accomplishment at picking someone who's successful? If my wife becomes a doctor and she can't brag about being a neurosurgeon and I don't want her to be too cocky, I married a neurosurgeon. What kind of bullshit logic are we applying here? I mean, come on, man. Yo, what the fuck are you doing here, bruh? The turn was 5 minutes ago. Sorry, folks. This is gonna be one of kind of these things, man. And so understand it. Why would you feel threatened if I get it when you got a boyfriend? But again, even if you're dating someone who's a professional that's cocky, you're dating them. You won. It's like we've become participation trophy people in life. No one can be exceptional. You can't be a superstar anymore. You just you stay humble, stay quiet. You don't want to seem like you're bragging. You don't want to piss your family off. Well, how would they be pissed? They never had to sit on the office chair and toil and study for hours to learn the thing that I'm doing that everyone would say I'm successful for. I can't brag about studying and learning and crafting a trade and becoming an expert. I can't brag about being an author, even though it took me 6 months to sit here and think and plan and write and rewrite and send it to an editor, spend tons of money, thousands of dollars to create a book that sells for $20. But, be humble. Be humble. What about dedicating something to yourself in life? What about, and that's the reason why we got all these mental health things. I'm not a health practitioner, but I'm just saying, could the mental health things be because when we decided that no one wanted to be better than others, that everybody was equal, that somehow we never gave praise down to our children that needed to hear praise in order to feel better about themselves? Like their friends are telling them good job. Like their teachers are enough to tell them good job. And now they are children. They have children now. They're adults now. And they don't know how to give praise because they're too busy doubting themselves. And now you got grandchildren or the next generation of people who have more mental confidence and barriers that they don't know what they want to do in life because no one ever decided that they were better than just being like everyone else. No one made them say, hey, you're special. Now go out there and prove it. Bring me back confirmation of the special that I saw in you. No one's putting a battery in someone's back and saying, now go out there and seek and bring me back the divineness that's been placed inside of you. What I want to see is you conquer. I want to see you achieve, accomplish. No one said you had to go out there and conquer a village, but even back in ancient times, they wanted you to go on a conquest. You needed to have a battle. You needed to have some form to show, some scar, some merit to show that you are worthy to be a king. But everybody's a king and queen because we're all of African descent. Well, even in Africa, kings had to conquer. Kings had to achieve. Queens had to be with men who were kings. Everybody's a queen, 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 queen. Well, if everybody's a queen, queen has no meaning. Queen has now become woman. Inflated sense of egos without accomplishments to match the ego that's there. And when you don't have accomplishments that match your egos, what you have is an egomaniac. Someone who's manically thinking that their ego is representation of the physical reality. And you got men buying into this. I told my nephew, shout out to you, Jonathan Hornberg. Yeah, he's my nephew, not by blood, but I've been calling him nephew since he was a young child, and now he's a grown man. And he's got a girlfriend, and I told this young man, I said, don't you ever, ever forget that you have value. If that's your girlfriend, she chose you just like you chose her. Don't you ever put yourself secondary to anyone else. Fuck. You got equal value to her. You don't ever need to make yourself less than so someone else can feel great. You don't got to impress her. She needs to be able to impress you too. You have value. You can't put yourself in a secondary role when you're trying to go and accomplish things in life. And to my daughter out there, at some point, you're going to have to make sure that this brain up here is smart as the feelings in your heart and pick the right man. Your success matters when you pick the right man. Everybody out here, they're competing with nothingness. That's what's happening. You're competing with nothingness. I'm a boss, you're a boss too. We're all bosses, we're all queens sitting up in here. The only time queens got together when there was something kings needed to convene on. And kings didn't get together like that, but maybe one or two kings, and even then it was tense. Even then it was competitive. Even then there might be a war that broke out. If kings got together, it was because an ally, they had a problem with another king who was looking to take. They were looking to strengthen bonds, not sit here and measure up dicks. Oh, king, everybody's a king, and everybody's broke. Living in a system where no one's accomplishing anything. Like I said, kings of nothing. Afraid to work, afraid to get a job, living with a woman. Come on, man. Where's your nation? No, you're not. You don't have a nation. You're living on a plantation. You're building someone else's nation. And I'm not talking about a nation like, United States. I'm talking about a nation where you have assets, you build revenue, you have capital, you make money while you're sleeping. You're getting payments going in that you don't have to actually clock in and clock out for. Yeah, maybe you have a 9 to 5, but at some point in your life, you need to write a check or get to the point in your life where if you don't pay somebody on a certain day, they're going to say, hey, where's the money, right? Ain't I supposed to get paid today? It's not bragging rights. It's a merit. There's a merit rights because you sign the checks or you issue the digital payments. When you tell somebody, hey, you show up for the meeting or you're fired, that's what it is. When you tell people their pay's got to go down because they're not performing well, that's what you got to create. You can't be a boss and you're your employee as well as your boss. You're not a boss. Listen, I'm going to say this way, man. I don't care if you don't like this video. I don't care if you're upset. You got to challenge yourself. You got to get in position to be in the position. You can't just claim the position. And when you get there, don't you dare, and I mean it, don't you dare, let anyone tear you down about what it took to get there. Because if it was so easy, the people tell you to be humble, they could do it. You know what it is? They want you to be humble in the face of them because they don't want you to brag and showcase how you can accomplish things and how lazy they are. How little they've managed to accomplish in life, because once you do that, the game's over. They got to look in the mirror and they got to live each day knowing that, hey, you know what? I never measured up. You know why they want you to be humble? Because they're competing with you. They're not inspired by you. They're competing against you. And what does a competitor want? They want you to lose. That's why. I remember seeing Corey Cottingham down in Philly. Shout out to Chakra Soups. And I asked him how he's doing. He says, man, I'm about to open up another shop. I'm just working to get the funds. I say, you got to explain to me that, man. I get it. What I like seeing is that you hustling to get yours. What you're doing is making progress, not making excuses. And that's what I want to see. That's why we've been friends outside of our friendship for 20-something years. Because you're accomplishing things. A lion don't want to look up and see hyenas. A lion wants to look up and see other lions. Lion looks up and see hyenas. He says, I've got competitors. A lion looks up and sees anything other than other lions. He's saying, I've got competitors. That's why when you get a whole bunch of lions together, they make a pride. Any which way, folks, that's all for today. Phillip Davis, Ancestry Lands, AncestryLands.com. I'm charged right now. Anybody make me upset? No, I'm upset at life. I'm upset at the mindset of the weak. I'm here to build strength, to give knowledge through my wisdom to impart upon young men who sit out here and got to look at the world and say, I got to be quiet and not celebrate. I'm here to celebrate you. I'm here to tell you, damn all of them. Get around some people who can celebrate when you achieve. Leave a comment below and tell me about something you did to achieve today. And then talk about all them hating ass people that told you they didn't want to hear about it. I want to hear about it. Make sure you subscribe, like, share. My mother's always commenting on me. Hey, how you doing, man? I always see people that say, what's up? They see you after a while. When they see you working and progressing every day, people start to notice that. They notice the people who are doing things progressive, and they look at you and smile. Any which way, folks. Phillip Davis, Ancestry Lands, AncestryLands.com. Make sure you're doing something to achieve, and you're around people who will celebrate your success. The link to my book is in the description section below. Remember, folks, own property or you'll be owned as property. Phillip Davis, Ancestry Lands, and I'm out. Peace.